In the previous video, we saw how to create the archway for the small hallway. Now we're going to create a similar archway for this larger hallway over here. Okay? Let me go ahead and let me open up a concept image here. So we can see here in the concept image, here's the larger, wider hallway. We have a very similar archway. Of course, it's going to be wider. Okay, so it's going to be similar, but a little bit different. Let's go ahead and close the concept image, and let's get started. If I go to see-through mode, I can see the blueprint underneath has the same exact type of notches here that represent the archway. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to use the same technique. I'm going to go to edge mode. I'm going to select this edge, and what I'll do very quickly is I'll just go to modify selection, and I'll select a ring. Okay, I want to select the ring, and you can see I got all the edges in that ring selected. I'm going to go to connect, and I'll use one segment. Hit OK. There's no need to align this. This ring is, or this edge loop is perfectly straight. And as I move it close here to the little blueprint right there, what I'm going to do is select the blueprint, and I'm going to select that edge right there, and I'm going to copy its Y transform because I want to get its direction here in the Y. So I'll copy that. I'll go back to the polygon object, go back to that edge loop, and oops, that's the X. I want to paste that in the Y. Sorry about that. There we go. Alright, so let me close the transform type in tool, and there we go. Perfect. Alright, now the next thing is to do the same things before. Take these two polygons and the third one on the top there. Go to the extrude. Let's go to the options. As you can see, 4 inches is exactly what we need to do. And I'm going to keep the by polygon option like before and hit OK. Now, just like before, we're going to have some unwanted polygons down here underneath the extrusion, which we don't need because that's where the floor is. Okay. And the next thing is to go into edge mode, select this edge here and this edge here, which belong to these polygons that are going vertically here on the edges of the archway, and just pull those down. Okay. Now we know from the other archway that they have to be at about a height of 7 feet. So we'll hit 7 feet using the transform type in. And then we know that we need to select this polygon up here, and we need to just scale it in on the X. And then we know we need to select these polygons here. Those extra ones we don't need. Hit delete to get rid of them. We'll go back to edge mode and activate the target weld tool. And we'll just go ahead and target weld this stuff from top to bottom. Okay, so if I just pull back here and I look at this, I pretty much have the same setup as we did with the small archway. Okay, so it's the same deal. It's just different sizes. So just like before, we'll select these two edges on the top here. We'll go to connect, and we'll make sure that's connected once, and that we have 0 and 0 for the pinch and slide. We'll hit OK. And we know that we have to move this edge up pretty high. About right there, I guess, is going to work out. And now let's go to the front view, and let's go to wireframe mode so that we can see the arch from the blueprint in the background there, and we can use it as a guide. So with that edge still selected, I'm going to open the quad menu and go to the chamfer options. Okay, 12 segments is good. You can see my arch is a little bit small. So as I move this around, I notice that my arch doesn't exactly reach the same height as the other arch. So I'm going to hit cancel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that edge back up more like this. And I'm going to try it again. There we go, much better. But we can see it's still missing over here. Adding more segments is not going to help there. The chamfer amount is what normally would help there. But if it's not reaching, let's hit cancel. That means that this edge has to be moved up even higher. So let's try to chamfer it again. And there we go. Now we can adjust the chamfer amount and we get a perfect arch just like the blueprint. Okay, so now I'm going to hit OK. going to go back to perspective view. And we can see we still have the same triangulation problem as in the other arch. So I'll just come here, select these polygons, go to the Graphite Modeling Tools triangulation menu and hit retriangulate. And it looks like the 12 segments were good enough to give this a very nice smooth arch, even though it was wider. It didn't need more segments, so it's pretty good. Okay, awesome. Alright, let's have a look at our concept image of this area here just to see what it is that we have to build right here. Okay, so here's the concept image of that angle, pretty much the same angle that we're looking at from 3ds Max. And we can see that it has a very similar archway. In fact, it's a completely identical archway to the one that's out here. Alright, so now we know we have to create an identical archway and then place some double doors inside that archway. So the archway is gonna basically be sort of the door frame for these double doors. So let me close the concept image there. Alright, now here's a neat trick. Instead of building another archway from scratch and wasting time doing that, why not just reuse what we've already been working on? What do I mean? Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to select this polygon here, maybe select that one up there. Let's go to Modify Selection and let's hit Loop. And it's not selecting loop there. Let me select this polygon and try this one right there. Now let me try to select the loop. Okay, perfect. So 3ds Max just needed a little bit of help understanding what I was trying to do. So if I go to see-through mode, I can see the loop that I have selected right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Modify Selection again and hit Grow. And that grows my selection once, and you can see that I have my entire arch selected. So what does that mean? Pretty simple. I can use the Move tool, and I can hold down Shift and move this to make a clone of it. Then I can tell it to either clone to element or clone to object. For now, what I'm going to do is clone to a separate object and hit OK. I want it to be separate for the moment, and you'll see why in a bit. So I'm going to take see-through mode off right there. I'm also going to change the color just so I can identify this a little bit easier with my eyes. Okay. Now you can see here in the blueprint that we have what looks like a very similar notch setup as this this area right here. Okay, so this looks like it's going to be 4 inches right here. This this thing right there. And if I go ahead and I select the blueprint and I go to vertex mode, hitting 1 on the keyboard, just like if you were using a polygon object, and I open up the transform type in tool, I could check the Y. The distance in the Y is negative 27 feet 8 inches. And if I select this one, bingo, it's negative 28 feet. So what does that mean? Well, what it means is that they're about, I'd say about 4 inches apart if my math is correct. Yep, because if you added 4 inches to 8 inches, you'd end up with 12, which is the same as saying 28 feet. So there you go. So it's 4 inches. There's other ways to measure that, by the way, but I'm just a bit lazy and decided to do it that way and let my mind do the math. So here's the archway here, which we're going to stick back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this entire polygon because I realize that we don't even need it anymore. So I'll delete it, basically to punch a hole back there. And then I'm going to take the archway here, and I'm going to place it right there, but to place it is going to be a little bit difficult because of our pivot point. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the hierarchy tab with the brown archway back here selected. I'm going to go to Effect Pivot Only. I'm going to hit Center to Object because right now my pivot point is located way over here. So by hitting Center to Object, I basically move it over here closer to my view just to make things a little bit easier. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to snap it to this bottom vertex here. Okay, so I'm going to take it, I'm going to turn on snaps, I'm going to snap it to that bottom vertex right there. I'm going to get out of the effect pivot mode, and now I'm just going to grab this and snap it right there. So it's going to end up perfect. Okay, now Okay, this guy is getting in my way and it's getting very annoying. I'm going to take these polygons from this wall here. I'm going to go to visibility and I'm going to hide selected. Perfect. Yeah, that was getting very, very annoying. Okay, now I can see better. Alright, now what I want to do is I want to fill this area with a wall, like the one that I had before. But I have these back polygons here that are basically facing nothing. No one's ever going to see these polygons back here because there's going to be a wall here blocking this, and then there's going to be a double doors right here as well. So since no one's ever going to see these polygons, let's not waste resources on them. Let's just take these polygons back here and let's just delete them and get rid of them completely. Okay? Now next thing you notice is that down here my blueprint says there's supposed to be a little strip of floor right here. So to do that, I can do it very, very quickly and easily. Let's go to edge mode. I'll select the bottom edge there and I'll take snaps off. Remember to take snaps off here. I'll extrude this out like so. I'll go to target weld and use the target weld method to pretty much seal that up down there with a polygon. So now I have a strip of floor. Now what I can do is hit 3 on the keyboard to go to border mode, or you can just select border mode over here. Select that border, and now just go to the quad menu and hit cap. And when you hit cap, it creates a polygon that pretty much seals up that entire hole. Hence why it's called cap. You're capping a hole. Okay, perfect. So that's done. Now the next thing to do would be to place those double doors right here. So placing the double doors is actually going to be pretty easy. I'm going to create a new double door object. I'm going to go back to the create tab. I'm going to switch from the windows, which we were previously using, and go back to doors. Okay. Now we could use a pivot or a bifold or a sliding door. If I use a sliding door, let's see what I come up with here. Click and drag. Bring that up to about right there is fine. Have a little bit of penetration there from the archway. I don't like the sliding door. Even though it looks interesting for my case, I'm not going to go with the sliding door. I don't like it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete that door. Back to creation tab. I'm just going to create a regular pivot door similar to pretty much the other doors we've been working with so far. So I'm going to click there, drag it to here, snap it to that back vertex right there in the archway, and bring it up to this top vertex. And there we go. Perfect. So it's perfectly aligned with my doorway there. I just need to make some adjustments to it. I'm going to go to the Modify tab here, and I'm going to make some changes. First of all, I'm going to make it double doors because one door just looks really weird. I'm going to make it double doors, okay? And these are not going to open the way they normally do. We're just going to leave them closed. Now, I don't need a window, a door frame here because my archway doubles as a nice archway and as the frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncheck create frame, so I don't have a frame. Now you can see the door fits perfectly right there. Very nice. Awesome. Now what I need to do is adjust the height because obviously the height is off. Now if I wanted to, I could leave it like that, which looks kind of interesting, but that's not the way it looks in the concept image. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to increase the height here, basically so it hides into the archway. Okay, and it doesn't matter that this is just going through like that. It's basically just something that's going to be placed in the background there. This serves no real function in our 3D scene. We're not going to do like an animation of someone opening these doors and walking through them into another great hall or an art room, something like that. So we're just going to leave it like this. Now you can see that the panels are kind of penetrating through there. So what we need to do is play around with some of these leaf and panel parameters here to try to get ourselves something that is not going to penetrate through. So let's try changing the style / top rail. And we could reduce the size like so, which is pretty good. Now the panels aren't inside the archway, which looks good. And maybe we'll go ahead and we'll switch this to beveled. And maybe we'll add a couple of panels, something like this. We can add a more and make this 4, but you know what? I kind of like this look. Looks more like the concept image, and there's only 2 of them, 2 panels. Maybe we'll adjust a few other things. Maybe we can adjust the thickness. I'm not going to adjust the thickness though. Just play around with some of these settings and you can get yourself some pretty interesting results. So maybe I'll go with something like this. Yeah, I'll say that I'm happy with this. So there's my double imaginary sliding doors. Pretty good. Alright, so that's going to do it for that. That part's pretty much done. The only other thing that I would do is take the house geometry, go to the quad menu, go to attach, and I'm going to attach this archway to my house, okay, to make it all one mesh. Alright, good to go. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Alright, I'm going to say I'm happy with that. Very nice. I'm going to end this video here, and in the next one I'll see you there, and we'll continue working on this house. We still have a lot more work to do, so I look forward to it.